welcome to Finding Signals, and today we are going to analyze the stock of Heritage Foods. Now, what does the company do? The product portfolio of the company includes milk. In milk, there are various variety of milk like toned milk, full cream milk, standardized milk, cow milk, slim milk, etc. They also have value-added products derived from the milk, which includes curd, buttermilk, flavored milk, lassi, milkshakes, cold coffee, and we can see many other products like paneer, tikka paneer, malai paneer, cheese, sweets, etc. Some other products also includes Heritage Shrikhand. They also have ice creams, various types of ice creams and fat products including cow ghee, buffalo ghee, cooking butter, fresh cream. The Heritage Kesar Shrikhand, Heritage Malai Paneer Fresh are some of the recent bringings by the company. Company is regularly expanding their product portfolio, which is the need for a current day business. So guys, before moving further with the analysis, let us first have a look at the fundamentals of the stock. The market cap of the company is around 2250 crores. The current price of the stock is rupees 484 and book value is rupees 137. So the price to book value ratio is 3.54. But industry price to book value ratio is around 2.75. So for company it is little more than the industry, but there is not a huge difference between these two. So the stocks PE is around 18.7, but for industry PE ratio average ratio is 38.5. So for Heritage Foods it is almost half than the industry. So this says that company is undervalued than the industry. So this is a good sign for investment in the stock. Even the return on capital employed is 31% and return on equity 29%. So these return ratios are impressive, which shows that company is able to generate good returns. Even dividend yield is 1%, a good dividend yield, a decent we can say. Face value is rupees 5 and it has generated 75% returns in the last 1 year. Even have a look at the debt to equity ratio, it is just 0.06. So company is almost debt free. Again, a great news. So guys, here we can know more about the company. We already know that company is into the business of milk and milk products, but they are also in power generation, but they're generating power for their own dairy plants using the renewable resources like solar and wind. So we can see that company is future oriented and working regularly on innovations. They have a reach to over 15 lakh households in India. If we have a look at their sales breakup, then 65% of their revenue comes from milk, 27 from value added products, fat contribute to 6% and others to 2%. Now, the focus products for the company are curd, paneer, immunity milk, lassi, flavored milk and ghee. So guys, there may be one thing in our mind that out of such huge number of products, why the company is focusing on the following products. So the reason is these products fall under the category of value added products, like here we can see curd, paneer, cheese, milkshakes, etc. And the sales of these products have grown at a constant pace in the last few years. We can see this graph moving upwards. Although in FY21 there is downfall due to the COVID-19 lockdown impact, but for the first half of FY22 we can see that sales have almost reached the half level of FY20. Maybe we have to wait for the later half to confirm the total sales figure for the year. But some of the factors driving value added products include high disposable income, urbanization, and convenience. Why? Because company has such high margins and they also have a longer shelf life, which makes it company's focus shifts towards such products. They also have easy and cost effective supply chain resulting from that. Talking of supply chain, let us have a look at the network strength of the company. So for retail trade, we can see they have 0.13 million kirana stores, 26 organized retail chains, and they are also present on 6 e-commerce websites. If we talk about Heritage own network, they have 36 distribution centers, 859 Heritage parlors, and 1462 Heritage Touch app subscribers. So what is Heritage Touch app? They have an app which is focusing on consumer and they are working on integration of technology, combining their operations with it. They have made an app which is convenient, there is no minimum order, and is helpful for the consumers. Now, guys, many of you might think if the company manufactures milk and milk products, but I haven't seen the products of this company, or many of you might have not used the products of Heritage Foods. So the reason is that company has growing consumer base, and they have yet not reached to every city in the country. In fact, they are only in some states like Maharashtra, in cities like Mumbai, Pune, in Gujarat, in Hyderabad, etc. We can see here that their consumer base is growing at a CAGR of 4.6% from FY17 to FY21, and their milk procurement, which is in terms of MLPD, which is million liters per day, have also increased at a CAGR of 3.8% during that time period. While processing capacity has increased at a CAGR of 12.5% during that time, although it has remained same since the last 2 or 3 years. Heritage Foods also has subsidiaries, associates, and joint ventures. So it has a wholly owned subsidiary under the name of Heritage NutriVet Limited, which deals in animal nutrition, stock feed, and feed supplements, and is a player in the southern part of India, which includes five states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. It also has a joint venture with one of the French company under the name of Heritage Novendie Foods Private Limited. Novendie is a company from France where it manufactures various types of yogurts and dairy products. Another interesting news about Heritage Foods is that in 2016, company sold its retail division to Future Group. Now, we all might have heard about Future Group due to their conflict in the case between Reliance Future and Amazon. So, company sold its retail division in exchange of 3.65% stake in the Future Retail, which was worth around 300 crores at that time. But after that period, in last year 2020, due to the conflict, Future Group shares started declining, and company sold its entire stake at the amount of 130 crores in December 2020. So which means a loss of almost 170 crores. So this deal didn't turn out to be that great for the company. But then in 2018, company also acquired the business of Reliance Retail in the segment of dairy, which helped Heritage Foods in increasing their manufacturing capacity. Guys, if we compare Heritage Foods with its peers in the sector FMCG and industries, food processing, we can see names like Varun Beverages, Zydus Wellness, Hindustan Foods. Here we can see that the P ratio of Heritage Foods is the least in the list, which is a positive news for the company. And the market cap is around 2000 crores, which is lesser than the company in the list. But if we have a look at the dividend yield, it is around 1% for Heritage Foods, and most of the other companies have a lower dividend yield. Another positive news about the company has a good net profit per quarter, and look at the change in quarterly profit, a jump of 1362%, which is maximum for Heritage Foods. And even the sales per quarter is good for Heritage Foods. Some companies have higher sale, but again their market cap is higher. But looking at the market cap of Heritage Foods, looking at the market cap of Heritage Foods, such sales figures are very impressive. Even the change in quarterly sales is positive for Heritage Foods. And look at the return on capital employed, it is maximum here for Heritage Foods. So all these figures shows that company is able to perform well in the recent time. Before moving to company's financials, earlier we discussed that company has a subsidiary of Heritage NutriVet under the cattle feed segment. We can discuss the financials of this company. Here we can see that revenue from operations have increased at a CAGR of almost 16% in the last 4 years. Even the EBITDA margins have reached 11.1% in FY21, which were around just 2% in FY18. And even the profit after tax margin is now approx 6%, which were around 0.2% only in FY18. So we can see here that Capri has been able to perform excellently under this subsidiary segment of cattle feed. One of the vital factor about any company is that what is new about that company. Here, Heritage Food is constantly focusing on expanding their product portfolio and expanding to new geographies. We can see one of the recent products introduced by the company is Heritage Tikka Paneer, which is kind of ready to eat food, and we all know that demand for ready to eat food is going to increase in future as the lifestyle of people is becoming busy. And one of their products under the company of Novendai, a French joint venture, they are expanding to Hyderabad, introducing their products to new cities, and they have already successfully launched the products of this company in the states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Telangana. So this is another good news about the company, that they are expanding to other states, which would increase the revenue sources for the company in the future. Having a look at the P&L statement of the company, we can see that sales of the company have grown year by year. Also, the operating profit margins have improved. We can see they were around 6%, 3% in 2011, and have now reached to 11%, 9% in the current year. But one thing about this company is that it has also made losses in some years. In March 2018, where there was a loss of 255 crores, and in March 2020, there was a loss of 382 crores. So earlier we saw that P ratio of the company was least in the list when we compared it with the peers, despite having such amazing fundamentals. So one of the reason is that company has made losses in some years. It has not been consistent in making profits every year, and if we carefully notice, we can see that the losses are actually bigger than the profits. So company has lagged here in making consistent profit, but it would be great if company is able to make consistency in this profit in the future years. Also, we can see how well company has improved its EPS, which was around only 1 in 2010 but have reached to almost 32 in FY21. Having a look at the balance sheet, we can see that company has been able to increase their reserves, and they have sufficient reserves as of now. Even the important thing is that borrowings figure, which was around 184 crores in 2010, and now borrowings have reduced to 37. So this reduces the debt burden from the company, and in future we may also see that company is completely debt free. They have also been able to increase their fixed assets, which would be very beneficial for the company in the long term, as they would be able to increase their manufacturing capacity and increase their supply of the products. When we have a look at the shareholding pattern, we can see that promoters holding is around 40% approx. Foreign institutions have a 3.47% shareholding, although in previous year they had a larger shareholding. It was around 6% in 2018. Domestic institutions have, however, increased the shareholding because it was around 10% in 2018, but now it is around 14%. Public has shareholding around 42%. Under the public shareholding segment, we can also see one large name, which is the Kedia Securities Private Limited. So Vijay Kedia sir also has made shareholding in this company. In fact, in the recent quarter, he has also increased the shareholding in this company. We can see it was around 1.04 in December 2020, and now it is around 1.13%. So this is some great news about this company, as Vijay Kedia sir is known in the market for picking up multi-bagger stocks. If we talk about company's management, then the average management tenure of the company's management team is around 3.8 years. And about the CEO, which is Mr. Shrideep Nair Kesavan, who has also served at the Coca-Cola for around 14 years in the leadership position. So they have an experienced management team, and average age is around 54 years. So guys, this is the chart of Heritage Foods on a 1 month time frame. Now on a longer time frame, we can see that it has rewarded its long-term shareholders. But also after the year 2018, we can see that stock was in a downward trend for almost 2 years till 2020. But after 2020, as the markets rallied upwards, stock also moved upwards. And also during the past two periods in which stock was in a downward trend, we can see the volumes were quite low. And look at the change in volume in the present time, how the volumes have increased. So this shows that stock is in a good strong momentum. Also, we can see that there is one resistance for the stock around the level of 570, and it has tested this resistance multiple times after the year 2019. We can see one, two, three, four, 5 or 6 times, and it has failed to cross this resistance. So this point is some strong resistance for the stock, and currently stock is trading below this resistance point. On a daily time frame, we can see that stock is moving downward since past few days, and we can also see that there is one demand zone for the stock around this level of 450 to 425. So if someone wants to make a fresh entry in this stock, I think this level of 450 can be a good level to enter in this stock. This blue line is the 50 days moving average, and if stocks breaks this line in the downward side, then we should wait for the stock to come at this demand zone and show some strong reversal sign. Then we can make a fresh entry in this stock. But if stock shows a reversal sign from this 50 days moving average, we can also think of entering in this stock at those levels. Although if someone wants to place an SL level in this stock, then they can place an SL around the level of 420, which is below the demand zone. So guys, this was all from this video. If you found the content helpful, then please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, if you think I missed any important point in this video, then you can let me know in the comment section below. Thank you.